Welcome, everybody, to the MMA Mainstream Podcast. I am James, joined by my co-host, Kaelyn. And it was a trip. It was Memorial Day weekend last weekend, and there was no MMA. Did you happen to watch any classic fights? No?
Did not.
All right. Neither did I. So
Okay.
it happens. I did listen to the Joe Rogan MMA podcast that he does. That's really about
which one? Which one? Do you remember what it was?
The most current one. I think it was episode 111
For the MMA one.
Yeah, where he was talking to. No, it was there was one that came out after. It was with one of the coaches. He used to coach GSP. He's a jiu-jitsu and striking coach. I don't recall his name off the top of my head right now.
Crap! Sorry. I know what you're talking about, but I forgot what his name was too.
So, but that's the one I was listening to, and it's really interesting to hear them and their thoughts on what's going on in the world of jiu-jitsu and how they think things should be approached. I thought that was really neat. But there is a UFC this weekend. Thank you, God. We appreciate it. God is good.
Just give me something.
We do have a fight night this weekend. I believe it's going to
technically it's not a fight night when it's on in the middle of the day, but anyways, better than nothing.
That's true, but that's exactly it. Better than nothing, like last weekend where it was tough because nothing was going on.
Yeah.
So we have 6 fights on this fight card. We're just going to cover the main card for this. We start with Antonio Arroyo versus Tom Breeze.
Yeah.
All right, we got Breeze. It's 12-3 coming up. Both fighters coming off a loss. Arroyo is 9-3. Fighting, I want to say 185. So that's what they're competing at.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any thoughts on this contest?
I think I'm going with Tom Breeze. I know he's coming off a loss, but honestly, it could be either of them. I'm just picking Tom Breeze. I know a little bit more about him. He's more of a ground fighter. Even though his last fight he did lose by submission, but I'm probably going to pick him. But you know what? To be honest, the other guy was undefeated until his last fight, so you never know on this one.
It says here that he's 9-3. Or are you referring to Breeze's opponent?
No, Antonio Arroyo. What I'm talking about. He lost. Oh no. Yeah, no, you're right. But he, I don't know too much about him. He lost by KO his last fight, so I'm gonna go with Tom Breeze.
You're gonna go with Tom Breeze? All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Arroyo.
Okay.
Just to be different. Let's see if I can get back some of these wins because you're killing it, and maybe I should just go along with you. But nope, I gotta go against the grain.
Okay.
And he's Brazilian, and if Breeze likes fighting on the ground, the dude's Brazilian. Come on now, they come out of the womb knowing jiu-jitsu. So,
that's true.
Like, there you go. Hopefully, he can hold his own. Doesn't happen all the time, but hopefully, it'll happen in this bout. And the only way it'd be better if Tom Breeze's nickname was Febreze.
Stupid.
Stupid, but funny.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be the dumbest nickname I've ever heard, but
that's true. There have been some awful nicknames.
Some pretty bad ones.
Awful. Let's keep moving up the card to a middleweight bout. Come on, computer. We have Gregory Rodriguez versus Dusko. Wow. Hortorovic.
Yeah.
Hortorovic.
I don't know. Who do you got for this one? That's not
activated for me. Unfortunately, I can't look up the stats right now because it's not letting me go to it.
Oh, man.
If I had to choose, you know what? I'll go with Dusko just because of the name. Dusko.
That's who I was going to pick, too. I was going to pick
who you got?
Yeah.
All right. And we made that pick. Now we have Santiago. Wow. Ponzinibio bio versus Miguel. Ponzinibio. Thank you.
Yeah.
See, they need, like I said, I've said it before, they need pronouncers on this.
I
Versus
know.
Miguel Baeza.
Yeah. What do you think about this one? Do you know anything about these two guys?
Well, from what I could see here, Santiago has quite the wealth of experience.
Yeah, he does.
Over Miguel, who is undefeated with 10-0, and is taller, has the better reach advantage and leg reach. Both fighters like to bang though.
Yeah, Miguel Baeza is a black belt though in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu though. That's the only thing that I was thinking about. But I am going with Santiago Ponzinibio for this one.
Ponzinibio.
Yeah, he's been on kind of a tear. Even though he did lose his last, he lost his last fight to, I don't know if you know who this guy is or remember, Jing Liang. His nickname is the Leech. He's Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
He lost to him last by KO in round 1. I believe he was on a winning streak before that. So he hasn't, I don't know about any top names he's beaten. I don't think he's beaten a lot of top names, but he was on a tear for a while before that happened. You could go back and watch the highlights, but I'm going to pick Santiago, though, for this one. He had me convinced. His highlight reel had me convinced.
I feel like he does have the experience, at least in the UFC, because Miguel doesn't have any stats. For the UFC, so I imagine this will be Miguel's first appearance in the UFC.
10-0 though, man, but I still go with
that's exactly it. I also will actually take Santiago just because of the experience. Yeah, the experience is always a huge factor for someone like myself who's just observed the fight game as long as I have, especially because we see fighters like Andrei Arlovsky, who has been competing since I've been watching MMA since high school and is still doing good for himself. I mean,
I guess, man, he's still doing it.
He's still there. That's the thing. So
he's like
also
a machine.
Pick Santiago.
Just keep going. Okay.
And then we'll move on to a middleweight bout between Roman Dollazay.
Dollazay, I think.
Dollazay. I am off today.
You're always with the names. You're never good with it. Don't act like this is
I've tried. No, but I've tried in recent weeks. And I did get slightly better. I got slightly better, and then today I'm just all bleh.
And they just hit you with more of these, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, let's see, we're gonna confuse him even more.
Yeah.
Versus Lorenzo Starpoli.
Yeah, whatever.
Starpoli? Is that what it is? Starpoli?
I'll go with what you said, expert.
Yeah, I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy.
Yeah,
just
we know.
Fan. Yeah, I'm sure you guys have all figured that out. They just let me do this stuff, and I'm like, okay, I know what I know some production stuff. That's cool. Yeah. All right, so these guys, we have Roman, who is 8-1, versus Starpoli, who is 9-3, both coming off losses. Both like to strike, that's for sure, but do have submission wins and decision wins. What?
Well-rounded there.
What do you think? Who do you pick?
Yeah, probably I'm gonna go with Roman Dollazay. He was undefeated until his last fight. He lost to Trevin Giles. I don't know if you remember who that is. It wasn't too long ago. But before then he was undefeated. So I think I'm gonna go with him.
That's actually who I was gonna go with as well. So we both
the other guy though,
for that.
Loreno, or however you pronounce that first name, he lost his last fight to Tim Means by decisions, and Tim Means is pretty good. So to lose only by decision, that's a pretty good fight as well. But I think I'm going to go with the other guy, though.
I also am going to go with Dollazay. So
Dollazay from Georgia.
From Georgia, yeah, yeah, exactly, not the state. See, I did know that. Ha ha ha. Yeah, versus the guy from Argentina. There we go. How about that?
Georgia versus Argentina.
All right. Now we're going to go to a heavyweight bout. Walt Harris versus Marcin Tabura.
Yes.
13-8 with 1 no contest, 20-6.
Yeah, who do you got for this one?
Ooh. I mean, you have number 8 versus number 11. I want to say Harris, but Tabura just has the better stats in the way of record, in the way of a record. And he's also coming off a win. You know what? I'm going to go with Tabura just because he's better. I feel like he's better overall. Whereas Harris has just shown that he's just trying to get the knockout, at least from what I'm looking at.
Harris, yeah, I know, definitely. But
Not strong grappling.
Yeah, he's good. He's just he's lost his last 2 fights. But his last 2 fights he lost to was to Overeem and Volkov. So still, those guys are no joke.
Quality opponents. Very
true.
I
love Walt Harris. I always root for him. I was so disappointed in those last 2 fights. Do you remember what happened? The story with that guy? It was a while ago, but his daughter or stepdaughter.
Did she go missing?
She got murdered. But yeah, missing and murdered.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, so I was like, my heart was so in it. My heart was in it for him, and he just went on a losing streak after that, the last 2 fights. But, Overeem, come on. And Volkov, not, anything could happen with those guys.
It's it's Overeem. What steroid is he on today?
Yeah, but I'm going to pick Walt Harris. I always root for him. I'm still going to root for him.
Pick Harris? All right.
Yeah.
Right. And then now, okay, bear with me. This main event.
Jairzinho Rosenstreich, however you want to pronounce
I thought it was
Rosenstreich. And Augusto Sakai.
I knew Augusto Sakai, but Rosenstreich is where I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I looked at the name and I was like, I forgot. Because I remember having this problem last time.
Last time?
It is.
Every time?
Every time. Yeah. Who am I kidding? Number 6 versus number 9. Rosenstreich versus Sakai. I mean, we've seen Rosenstreich before. He did lose his last fight.
He lost his last fight to Cyril Gahn. Do you remember that fight?
I do.
He lost it to decision. But also Rosenstreich had knocked out Dos Santos and KO'd Overeem as well.
But
you know what else is interesting is Augusto Sakai lost to Overeem by KO. So
it's the circle of life, as they say in the Lion King.
Guys, I think all that means is Overeem is still in the picture, sort of.
But what Overeem? That's the thing. Is it steroid Overeem? Is it
not Overeem? Just Overeem now.
True.
Yeah.
True.
But also, Augusto Sakai was on a 6 fight win streak before that KO from Overeem. So he's no joke either. Who are you picking for this one?
I was going to go with Sakai. I mean, Rosenstreich has the better in the way of his wins with the KO.
I think this one's going to be really. I think this one's going to be exciting. Someone's getting knocked out here.
I hope so. But when you look at just an example like the Tafa fight, I expected someone to get knocked out too, and that didn't happen. So I feel like I want there to be a knockout, of course, but I feel like it's going to go to a decision. And I'm going to take Sakai.
Well,
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong on this.
I'm going with Jairzinho. Going with him.
All right.
That could be anything, and I bet one of them is going to get knocked out. That's my prediction.
I hope so.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
I think Sakai will get the win. That's me. All right. And then now we're going to be discussing the PFL. PFL usually happens Thursday, Friday, and we don't really cover it that often. But there is a fighter that we've been pretty hyped about ever since she appeared on the Joe Rogan podcast. And that's Claressa Shields.
Yes.
She's a boxer, a championship boxer who is making the transition to MMA. And she'll be fighting Brittany Elkin. Elkin has nearly 10 fights to her record. She is 3-6. So
I think this would be a great fight. This is a good opponent for Claressa Shields. I think this is a good matchup. I know that the other girl, obviously, anyone's going to have more experience. Claressa Shields has never done MMA. She's never competed in MMA. So you don't know exactly what's going to happen. But also, this is a pretty good opponent, being that she's 3-6. I think it's pretty even at this point.
Now,
you know?
okay, but why somebody 3-6? Wouldn't you want to match her with maybe somebody who has less than 3 fights or possibly 3 fights? Elkin has almost 10 fights. This will be her 10th fight. Don't you think that's a little more advanced?
Yes and no. Clarissa's been boxing. I mean, you can't underestimate her boxing experience. She's
never. I'm
fighter.
not underestimating it, but yet this is MMA.
Yes, but also Clarissa Shields has been striking forever and has done everything you could possibly won any belt you could possibly imagine in her sport. I think this is I think this is a really good matchup. Actually, I think this is a smart matchup. And yeah, she could have taken someone that didn't have any MMA fights or 1 or 2, but that would actually, to me, in my opinion, that would have been lopsided the other way. She's been fighting for a long time.
Do you think it's safe for Shields, or do you think this will be a challenge?
MMA is going to be a challenge no matter what. So this is a good matchup, in my opinion. Yeah, the other girl has more experience, but she does MMA. She's not a boxing champion, her opponent, but Clarissa Shields is. She's won all the belts you can imagine for her in her weight class. So I think it's a really good matchup. I still don't really know what's going to happen. I don't know. Does it say what this other girl's background is, where her specialty is here for MMA? Because if it's striking, she's screwed.
Yeah, if it's striking, she's going to get beat up. But
yeah.
I didn't really do a deep dive, so I am curious as to who she's competed against, what she's lost to, how she lost. So I just know her name, I just know her record, and I want to see Shields go out there and honestly box.
Her murder
I want to see her
everyone. God, I want to see her fight MMA so bad. This would be really great.
We've been talking about this for a while.
I know. I've been waiting for this fight. I've been not against Brittany Elkin specifically, but just waiting for her to get in there and see what's going to happen. I'm excited for this. We'll see. I really hope Clarissa Shields does good. She's really inspiring, and her attitude. She sounds super cocky, but man, if anyone deserves,
that's because she knows what she's talking about.
But if anyone deserves to be cocky and know what they're talking about, it's going to be her, you know? So I love it. I love all of it. I love her. I hope she does well. I think it's a good matchup too.
Now, okay. Would you have thought better of her if she went to like K1, if she did kickboxing or Muay Thai instead? Or are you like, yeah, MMA, that makes sense?
Well, it makes sense for what she wants. She specifically wants money and fame. That's where you got to go. You're going to go to MMA. You're not going to waste your time in Muay Thai or kickboxing. You're going to kickbox and do Muay Thai in the cage anyways, as long as you're learning it. She's already a boxer. You guys just add in the legs. She probably does pretty well, kind of, like a Holly Holm who transitioned from boxing also. I know Holly Holm did kickboxing before MMA. But as far as, and I think they train together. Are they from the same gym? I think I heard she goes to Jackson Week.
I want to say I've heard that. Yeah, because she's been training there. So yes,
so she's a training partner of Holly Holm, and I think they got a lot of similarities. So I think it makes sense for her to be doing what she's doing. Her goal is to money, fame, fighting. That's MMA right now. She even said that because boxing. She even said how she's done everything you could do in the women's division for herself as far as winning belts and her success. She's not getting paid not even half of what professional male boxers get paid, which is so sad. I understand the what do you call it? The fans are obviously more attracted to the male fights, of course. So she's not getting as many views as the males, so of course they're not going to pay the women more. It's kind of like the whole NBA, WNBA type of situation where it's just not going to happen. It's not there. The people are not you're not going to get paid as much as the males do. So, but MMA, I think you have a really good shot.
Now, unfortunately, you're right. She pretty much plateaued in the world of boxing. And
she did everything you could do. She's done it.
Literally.
And if she's not getting paid, move on. Yeah. This is a smart choice. If her whole goal, since her whole goal is to be like a McGregor type of person or fighter, MMA is the way to go. If you just wanted fighting experience and you just did it for the love of the game, yeah, do Muay Thai, do kickboxing. You could do all that if you want. But for her goal, I think she's doing something really smart. Yeah, I'm on her side.
Well, I'm picking her as well because after, we've talked about it multiple times. I look forward to her debut. I hope she does well. I'm very curious to see how her ground game is. There's probably not much there. Let's just be real.
I don't know. We never know.
That's
probably
true.
not.
I don't think probably not a lot. Let's just be honest. But I do hope it's enough for her to get the win. And
fighter's chance. You always got a fighter's chance.
Exactly.
She could just go knock everyone out.
True. And especially when you have Elkin, who does have a wealth of experience, is on the losing side though at 3-6.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what Shields is going to do. I want to see.
I think someone with such a high profile as Shields, that's a good matchup. I think it's okay because sooner or later she's going to face someone.
How she faces that adversity of somebody who does have these fight experiences. So we both take Shields. The end. That's our pick for that. That's the only fight we're really interested in the PFL.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's it.
They do have some other fights going on, but it's cool. It's whatever.
If Kayla Harrison's not on there, I don't care about any of the other ones.
Yeah. I do appreciate the female fighters, but I feel like the more let's say rambunctious, the women that just run their mouth, I feel like are in the PFL. And I love it. It makes me more excited to want to watch their fights compared to any female fights in the UFC.
Yeah, I think you're right. I might agree with you.
Because there's Amanda Nunes. There is Amanda Nunes, but that's Amanda Nunes. She's the GOAT. So of course we're going to want to watch her fight. But you have these females that are coming out and just running their mouth. They are selling these fights. They are what's making me excited as a fan to want to watch them compete. When you have certain fighters in the UFC that they don't do that. They don't run their mouth. They don't talk smack.
Not a lot of them. I know what Joanna was for a while. That was cool. She could back it up. That was really cool. But I'm trying to think of a female fighter in UFC that does run her mouth and all that, and I can't really think of it right away. I'm sure that there might be a few that can think of off the top of my head, but off the top of my head, you can think of Quista Shields and Kayla Harrison.
Exactly.
Kayla Harrison, though, doesn't just run her mouth. She's running her mouth now because she can. So that's even better.
Very much so. So I look forward to that fight. And we both take Shields, so that is what it is. But because there wasn't any Bellator this week, we also have other things going on in the world of MMA. Dana White has kind of said that soon he would like to have a health benefits package for current fighters. That would be more of a long-term thing than what they have currently.
I wonder what they have currently. Do you have any idea what they have currently?
I'm not quite sure because I know different companies have different things. I believe, from what I understand, I could be wrong, folks. If I'm wrong, let me know. Teach me. I want to learn. I believe that if a fighter is injured, I'm not sure about camp, but in the cage, that the UFC does take care of that. So if there's a broken orbital or anything, anything, they take care of that.
Yeah.
But I don't know about fight camp. If a fighter is injured in fight camp, if anything is taken care of, because it didn't happen in the UFC cage.
That would be so cool if they did, especially if you signed for the fight. You signed that contract for that specific fight and you're training for that fight. Something happens. That'd be really, that would, I don't know. Because if you get an injury during camp, that means you're not fighting. That means that fight's not happening. And they're not going to get the money that they possibly could have gotten having that fight on the card. So if they're going to scrap your fight because you're injured, I don't know if they'd be willing to pay for your injury either.
Very much so.
They should. That's the right thing to do. But I just don't see that going on. I don't know. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
I hope so too. I think this would be a huge change for UFC fighters to get something that they need. They do need health benefits. I feel like everybody needs health benefits. Let's just be honest about
what
that.
else is on the line besides your health in the sport?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly. And we haven't seen the long-term effects of MMA yet. We kind of have.
Can see where it's going.
We have fighters that, the Ultimate Fighter and stuff like that. Let's be honest, Diego Sanchez, there's a lot going on with him mentally, and I feel like too many blows to the head. Let's just be real. You see it more with boxers because those are consistent. They consistently take blows to the head, right. Whereas MMA fighters can, readjust and go to the ground and grapple. But not everybody does that. You still have fighters that like to go out there and bang. So I think we will see that in certain fighters, and hopefully not too bad. Some of these boxers sound awful when they speak.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Also, yeah, one thing I did catch today, looking around on YouTube, just listening to something while I was at work. Did catch a podcast with I think it was Mike Swick and Dana White. They were bringing up that whole Diego Sanchez thing, and what it sounds like now is that he speaks nothing but good things about Diego. I guess the whole craziness had to do with his manager, coach. Wow. Whatever you want to call that guy. He's the one that really ruined it for him. Dana White even said that, if Diego called him and needed something, he'd be there in like a heartbeat. Like no question. We discussed
that last week. That's it.
No question. He'd be there, and he still stands by that. Today, this podcast is real recent, like today or yesterday, but he did say that. He did mention that it was all about his manager that got him in this weird situation, but he's still on board with Diego Sanchez. I think he says he hopes he does well, and if he needs anything to call him. So I think maybe Diego's not as crazy as we think he is. Well, definitely a little bit, but
I think he was manipulated quite a bit.
Yeah, got taken advantage of.
And sure. I'm glad he's exited that bad situation because, as a fan of the first Ultimate Fighter, like, come on, man, he was the first champ. So
that's what that podcast was about. Things. Yeah, the Ultimate Fighter TV series. You said Dana White said no matter who you are, if you're part of that show, he's got your back. Like that was really the backbone of the whole UFC taking off was that show, and anyone that was in that show, he said he has your back. So I thought that was really cool. Also, did you catch any of the new Ultimate Fighter?
I have not. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched the first episode of it yesterday. A week late, but and man, that sucks. They're only coming out every other week. But I'm super interested. I'm actually going to watch this one. I'm excited for it. Probably just
now. Because it's every other week? Are there less fighters competing in it, or is it probably the same?
It's the same. There's 2 weight classes. It's middleweight and bantamweight. They weighed in for a middleweight fight. Unless I missed a bantamweight, I think it's only one. I wish they were doing both fights. Unless I didn't catch it, but I believe it's only the middleweight fight happening next week. And then maybe they'll do the next weight class. I was hoping they would do both 2 weight classes every other week, 2 fights, but we'll see. What they did is, they picked their teams and they picked the fights. So that took up most of the hour of the show, and they weighed in for 2 middleweights to fight. So we'll see what happens with that.
So no drama with the coaches?
Not yet, but honestly, the 2 coaches aren't really the drama type. I think with these 2 guys, it's going to be forced just to make it a little exciting. But I don't know. I'm more interested in the fights. Honestly, I could fast forward the entire show to the last end where they do the fights, and I'll be happy. I don't really care about all the drama stuff. Doesn't mean anything,
That's true. The drama stuff is just purely for entertainment, and this is on ESPN Plus. So they could just be focusing on the training, because when I was watching The Ultimate Fighter when it first came out, and for those few seasons afterwards, I loved watching them just train. I think it's the most interesting thing in the world. Like I could care less about what they're doing at the house.
God, I hated that.
They're all stuck at the house. Who cares? I want to see them train.
Yeah, Dana White was just saying, with this show, the reason why he loves it so much, you can get all of that. If you like drama, definitely watch it. You get a lot of drama. If you like the fights, you get that too. You get kind of everything in there. But I just happen to not really care about the drama. I just want to know who wins, who's the next fight. You know,
right? I just want to see him go.
Yeah.
All right, and then they have picked a fight for 264 with Carlos Condit and Max Griffin. Griffin, we've discussed on the show. He is a California. I don't know if he's a native, but he is from California. So I always root for that. Can't help it. He's competing against Carlos Condit, which sucks because as a longtime MMA journalist, I've interviewed Carlos Condit. I'm a fan of the Natural Born Killer.
You've interviewed him?
I've interviewed him. And
I'm jealous.
I don't know. Like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. As a fan, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. Yeah, I know that's the thing. Like, but Condit hasn't been the Natural Born Killer for it's been so off and on.
I know.
So it's not the Carlos Condit we got coming in for the WEC where he just murdered everybody. Yeah. This is a Carlos Condit who's it's later in the career.
He's really trying it.
Max Griffin is doing his thing. Yeah. I'm excited for this fight because I do enjoy both fighters. I will make my pick later. I will make my more educated guess later, not right now. But this is a fight I just wanted to talk about.
I like him.
You're going for Condit? All right.
Yes.
I have two.
I haven't been watching UFC since UFC 1, but when I did get into it, dude, he was in his prime. So I was a big fan of his, and I still am. And even though it's not the same, but I always have to pick him. I have to.
Have to?
Yes.
You don't have to.
In my opinion, I have to. There you go.
There you go. Well, yeah, just because some of us have been watching MMA since UFC 1.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I guess I'd be a boomer in the world of MMA. Oh my gosh.
No, I have to, dude, because that was my whole back in the day inspiration. I'm not an MMA fighter, but I was definitely into fighting, and that's what drew me into it. And I was like, okay, I'm already 20. I'm not gonna be able to succeed in MMA because I don't know everything, but I could definitely start with boxing. So I started with boxing. Now I do Muay Thai, and that's where it went. But it was during that time when GSP was on top, Condit was in the mix, Nick Diaz also. So
to represent
brings back memories. So I have to pick him.
All right. Well, you pick him, and we'll do this later because this happens in July. So we will definitely be discussing that. I know. That's fine. That's fine. Mine is what may change. That's why I'm I will wait.
We'll see what you pick.
I will put the brakes on picking for now.
Okay.
Like I said, I do enjoy both fighters. I'm a fan. So I'll just wait.
Okay.
And then let's talk about former champ Henry Cejudo. He is engaged. That's it. That's like all we really need to talk about as it pertains to that.
Your internet connection sucks, by the way. Today.
It does?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay, though.
Now I'm just playing.
Yeah, I know. I can tell.
All right. So Henry Cejudo's getting married. That's cool. All right. We'll go ahead and keep going. That's all I had. Like,
whatever.
I could really,
when's he gonna fight again?
What's going on? Right? He's like, I'm getting married. Oh, I need a fight because I gotta pay for this.
Oh, whoops. Yeah. No, I don't know about that, but I'd like to see him. Would you like to see him come back? Do you think he's gonna come back?
I could care less. He can stay
really?
gone. There's so many fighters, so many great fighters, and so many fighters in the fighter pool that when one of them is like, I'm done, I'm like, see ya.
Yeah. What do you think about TJ Dillashaw coming back? I mean, he was already scheduled for something, I think, wasn't he? And
I've never been a Dillashaw fan.
You weren't, even when he was knocking everyone out? No.
No, I could care less.
I wasn't a huge fan, but he was definitely like, okay, this guy's getting really good. And then the whole steroid thing came out, and I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, no, I never cared for him. I was like, oh, okay.
I don't necessarily care about him. I am interested to see how his next fight goes.
Even when he fought, I was like,
oh, really?
I care less.
He got my attention when he finished Renan Barão back in the day. Like, back in the day, sort of back in the day, but
Hidden Burrell, like that was the guy who, man, they had really high hopes for, and then just
he was doing great, and then he just didn't do great anymore, and never came back. Yep. Sort of. Do you know if he's still contracted with the UFC right now? I don't know if he is.
Yeah, I do not know. I haven't heard about him in quite some time.
Me either.
I'm going to say no. Mm-hmm. Then again, I don't know, but I'm going to say
I think you're right. I think he's done. Not sure, but
which that's another Hidden Burrell. Like he's fought some guys from here, from the local area, and I was like, I don't like Hidden Burrell, and I was right because I root local, go local, okay.
Yeah.
And then we're going to discuss another UFC or former UFC fighter, former Bellator fighter, overall hardcore Republican, everybody's favorite city council member, Tito Ortiz. Oh, wait, former city council member, because that's the story that's going on this week, folks. He has resigned. This job isn't working for me.
Yeah.
I thought you were supposed to be working for the people, Tito.
You're right.
You're in the city council, bro. You're not there to.
It didn't work for him.
You're there to help the folks.
Work for us anymore, huh? Damn.
Yeah, he's been very outspoken about how he feels about the mask mandates that have been going on in California. To each their own. That is your personal opinion. That is fine. Yeah. But I'm curious. I want to know what he did overall, because all we've really heard are just the crazy stories of him. I'd really like to know what he did, if he did anything to help the city of Huntington Beach. You know, that's where he's from. That's why he's a Huntington Beach bad boy.
That's why he wanted to do the job. So I now that you bring that up, I am curious to see what did he do exactly, if anything. Maybe not even anything at all, but looks like it didn't. Well, it's not working out for him, so maybe he didn't do anything at all. But the whole mask thing, I mean, that's, everyone's own opinion, like you said. But if you're going to pick a side and double down on it, good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. He tried. Hey, good for him.
He did, and he got elected.
Yeah.
But then again, he is, let's be real. I feel like a lot of celebrities that run for office are going to get elected because they have more eyeballs on them.
It's easier,
yeah. It did help that he was running in Huntington Beach, where he's from. Yeah. So people probably do know him. He is probably a local celebrity there.
Yeah.
Yet, I think that's why it was easier for him to get elected. Unfortunate that he had to resign, because it would have been nice if he was able to do things and come together with the other council members and get some stuff done to help the city of Huntington Beach.
Yeah, the article I read, he kind of went into detail about it's him against the world, or him against, if you want to call it, the machine, if you want. He said something about corruption going way too deep. He can't, kind of sounded like he couldn't do anything if he wanted to, type of situation. I don't know how much that has to do with him being outspoken about certain things like that. Probably had a lot to do with it, but also, you're going to have corruption everywhere. I think that's definitely, you're going to run into that, especially when you're, if you're doing the whole Republican versus Democrat thing, that's obviously a touchy subject, but, I believe him. It probably is corrupt. And either way you look at it, it could be corrupt on both sides. Who knows? But I believe most of what the article said. So you're probably not going to get anything done, but also you're kind of started off on the wrong foot also. So I'm not surprised.
I think he was a little too aggressive with some of the other city council members. Yeah. But then again, as somebody who works in news here, I see that with council members here.
Everywhere.
It just depends on the kind of report. Yeah, the kind of rapport that you have with the other council members in order to get things done. And
it's just when you get those two sides together, you're not going to agree.
Not on everything, and you're not. Not no one's saying you have to, but were they able to get certain things done to help the city? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I hope there was.
We hear about all the infighting, but I want to know if they were able to get stuff done to benefit the city of Huntington Beach.
I hope so, but well, who knows? I'm not. I wonder what he wanted to do exactly. That's what. Now that we're talking about, I'm like, I'm interested in this. I'm gonna find out.
He would, from what I understand, he would go around to different businesses, and he would do this on his social media platforms. And if they told him to, hey, there's a mask mandate, would you please put on a mask? He would get kind of crazy with them. And
that was his thing. Was that all his thing was about the mask?
From what I had seen, So it's like, okay,
you're not gonna win with that one, buddy. It is what it is.
I understand those are his beliefs, but it's like, whoa, bro, whoa.
Yeah, well, that's what happens with everyone that has an opinion about that. That's a touchy subject. If you pick a side, you're gonna double down on it and see what happens. And I find that a lot of the people that are on the other side of wearing the mask don't really win very often. It is what it is.
Like I said, exactly. Yeah. I'm still a fan of Tito Ortiz.
Oh,
to me, he's one of the most awesome cage fighters ever, and one of the greatest fighters to deal with their fans. He is awesome when it comes to that. So he does have positives, and this is just a situation that happened. We'll see where he goes from here. I'd like to see him take a stab at commentary.
Go for it. That's what he
knows.
With
his knowledge, or even doing a show where he breaks down fights. I think that'd be great. Give him something else to do.
I would listen to it. I mean, credible, So
very much so.
Very
former UFC champ.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, and not this week. Excuse me. On the 19th, yes, I want to say it's the 19th. We have 559 fights going on. They're coming back to Visalia. This will be the first 559 fights held in quite some time due to the pandemic. So we are so glad that they are back. I definitely look forward to it. I'm not sure. Have you ever been to a 559 fights?
No, I haven't.
You've never been?
Nah. The fights I went to a lot were the Tachi Palace fights and Eagle Mountain.
And those Eagle Mountain fights, I actually missed those. Those were fun.
Great. The first time I went there, I drove me and one of my training
partners, right?
It looked like a scene out of the horror movie when you I'm like, I gotta park in this weird, sketchy looking man-made parking lot across some janky bridge. You have to take a shuttle across it to get to somewhere else that's dark. You're in a mountain.
Don't get murdered.
That's exactly what it seemed like. And then I'm like, okay, we're here. Where's the fights? And then it's like, oh, it's in that tent right there. The fights are good, though. That's not my point. The fights are really good. There were good fights, too.
And my buddy Motts, for those who have been in the MMA game for a long time, Motts, he was saying when the way the fighters would go, because the cage was so small, it was like fighting in a shot glass.
It was small. The whole setup was small. So, that's what you get. I went to Arsenega. You know him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's who I went to go watch at Tachi Palace and in Porterville. So those were always fun. I love it. I miss those days. Those were so fun.
Oh, man. I miss those days.
So that's who I would go to watch. But it was very interesting when we got to Porterville. I still had a good time. Whatever. Trip. Yeah.
But this is Visalia. This is at the ballpark. Have you ever been to the Visalia baseball park?
I've been to Visalia like twice. I have no reason to go there, so maybe this will be. You know what?
Visalia is actually a really nice town. I really enjoy my time the times that I've been there.
Oh, okay.
I really look forward to this. It's going to be great. It's going to be open. Everything. Oh, yes. A fight.
Are there events? They're always outside, right? Of course, yes. Right? Outside, yes. Yeah. Okay.
It'll be on the baseball diamond and just seats for days.
Do you know where they weigh in at? I know they have different areas.
That I'm not sure. I would say they're probably going to do it at the ballpark as well, just in a different area, more probably like a certain VIP area that they have that's further down the field. That's where I believe they've done it before, if I recall correctly. And that will probably be, I want to say, because isn't it they weigh in and then they fight same day since it's
I
amateur?
Think it's I've not.
I don't think it's day before.
I've seen the day before ones. I've seen that before, so I think it is day before. I know
that would help the fighter, but I think because it's amateur.
What's weird is I've seen their weigh-ins, but not their fights. And it was the day before the fights, I think. It had to have been because it was in the late evening when they were weighing in. So it's not like they're weighing in and then going to fight because the location they were at was far. So I think it is the day before. It's the day before.
I'm not sure about that, but that's the way it used to be. It used to be they weighed in earlier in the day, and then they fought later that evening.
That's so okay. So with amateur, you got both. That you could do both.
Really?
Yeah, it's both. And same with Muay Thai. What's crazy is recently some of the Muay Thai events that I went to, of course, before the pandemic, they got to weigh in twice. You weigh in the day before, the night before. You got to weigh in again before your fight, which is because they only give you a certain pound limit of how much you can gain before your actual fight. And I think the limit is 10 pounds, I believe, which, okay. But still, you got to weigh in twice. I mean, you can't go.
That's got to be terrible.
Rehydrate and eat all you want the night before. You can't do that. You still got to weigh in the next day. So I've seen, but that's Muay Thai, kickboxing. So very different from MMA. But also, I know those MMA, you can go either the day before or day of. Day of sucks. That would suck. All my fights have been the day of. It's terrible.
Yeah. I've never had to weigh in for anything, and it shows. Let's just be honest. But 559 Fights is coming up. I'm elated that they are back. So can't wait to see what comes of that. Maybe we can get Archie to hook us up with some credentials or something.
Hey, that'd be cool.
Like, hey, Archie, help us out. What's up, man? That's cool. So we'll see what happens. And then the next day, because things had moved, we have the Underground Fight Series coming back. I've talked about it at the end of every show.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great time. It's going to be on the 20th at 3 p.m. sharp. I really look forward to seeing the jiu-jitsu matches that have been put together for this. I can't wait. I really look forward to it. And that will be Father's Day. So if you guys haven't signed up or done anything like that and you want to participate, sign up. If you have any information or any questions, contact us and we will set you straight. We'll help you get what you need and get you where you're going. All right. Looks like that covers it for our week of MMA Mainstream Podcast. Kaelyn, do you have anything else to add?
I do not. No. Well, sort of. There's I believe it's next weekend, Miami, Florida, Muay Thai going on. I think it's Triumph organization. They have some pretty big name fighters fighting on the card. I don't know. This is a MMA Mainstream Podcast, but there are at least 4 big names fighting in Miami this coming weekend. Should be interesting.
Who is it? Tell us.
Asa Tenpao is fighting. He's fighting Kevin Ross. I think you probably should know who he is. You know who Kevin Ross is?
Yeah, he's Rick Ross's cousin. I'm just kidding.
No. Kevin Ross, Asa Tenpao is the main event. Also, and I apologize if this fight is not happening still. Zoila Frosto was scheduled to fight. So sorry if she's not anymore, but I don't want to spread any misinformation out there. I know she was scheduled to fight. I don't know if that's happening. I know she was on the card, and a couple other people. Names aren't coming to me right now, but Jason Andrade from Las Vegas is fighting as well. So those were the 2 I was really looking forward to, is Asa Tenpao, Kevin Ross, and Jason Andrade. I'm sorry I don't know his opponent, but that's coming up. So I'm excited for that next weekend to find out what happens.
Is that next Friday or Saturday? Or is that sometime earlier in the week?
You know what? That is on the 13th, I believe. So that would be 13th. No, it must be 12th, which would be a Saturday. So.
All right. We will then, you know what? Let's find out some more information. Let's talk about it next week.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. All right, folks. Thank you for joining us on the MMA Mainstream Podcast. I'm James. She's Kaelyn. Wait, that way. There we go. She's Kaelyn. And we will see you guys next time.